What's up, y'all? Get set up here. As you're joining, let me know that you can hear me loud and clear. What's up, fight fans? So, how you guys doing this morning? Let's talk boxing and breakfast, I guess, huh? Uh, so we have a lot of top stories to go over with. We're gonna be talking about the Shakur Stevenson injury and my fault for thinking that Shakur was fighting on a different card. Um, we're gonna discuss that, man, and how I came to that conclusion and how this really like threw me for a loop, right? And all the fights, we have the Canelo Alvarez fight with Edgar Berlanga, and that's the one that has the most buzz. Ne Naoya Inoue, his kid brother is fighting in Japan. Junto Nakatoni, all that and more. So join me this morning and live chat. Any questions you would like to ask, feel free to drop them in the chat. Don't forget to like the video, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. So, one of the things I want to get right out of the way quickly is I had made a video, I'm not too sure when it was, a few days ago or yesterday or something, and I talked about Shakur Stevenson's management promoting a fight during the uh, Demetrius Bivol and Arthur Benavidez fight, right? And I was like, because my mistake in judgment came from Shakur Stevenson. Aren't you saying like you're a mega superstar and you just headlined your last few fights? You're not on nobody's undercard. I couldn't imagine that you're gonna go from headlining fights to somebody's undercard. So I automatically assumed, right, and that's what you get for assuming, right? Um, that it had to be his event. I didn't think that you were gonna go from headlining to I was just thrown back by that. I was like, wow, that was I couldn't believe it. Then like on his last pay-per-view sales, them criticize him for the price of his pay-per-view sales and that he was jumping on somebody's card, to try to get pay-per-view money type thing. But now the fight is canceled. So now we don't even have a fight. He showed a picture of him on the internet, and you know, look, what do I feel about this? Injuries are injuries. No one knows exactly when you're gonna get them, or like I spoke of yesterday too. In fact, about fighters always ignoring injuries in the gym. We we train and we're hitting the bag and everything, and you know um in a sport where machismo and the will to push forward, and you know it's like you adapt this thing that like, oh, I'm not going to complain about every injury, and they start to stack up, and sometimes if finally your hand breaks or it gives out, you know uh not sure if this is the same situation, because he had a contusion on his left knuckle or something like that coming into the Edwin De Los Santo fight. So he had complained about that, and I know so I don't really know what finger. I mean, they're saying it's the middle finger, but I was hearing like on social media that it was the right one. and in the picture, it's his left hand. So I'm like, is that an old picture from the first time he had surgery on his hand, and that they putting it out? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's up with that. I don't know what to think about that. That fight is off. But and then it also means that Shakur Stevenson is not going to be active, and then on top of that, that Tank Davis is going forward with his fight. That's going to be a really good fight. The fact that you know, all the stipulations haven't really been fully ironed out with the Tank Davis situation. I mean, it's not that, there's people putting it out there that that's supposed to be, but if you go for ticket sales and you check that out, there's no venue yet. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen no ticket sales for the fight. So that I usually go by that, right? Where that if you see, because they have like, you can go to a lot of websites, they have events that are booked. Tickets is like for months. You could just go down the list and you'll see if that fight is real or the event is real, if they got a venue and they got people selling tickets, or it'll say like coming soon. You won't be able to buy the tickets yet, but they'll have advertisement months in advance for that event. So that's what lets me know that really like, okay, yeah, this fight is official, and there's nothing like that. So, expect the unexpected, guys. That's all I'm telling you. Expect the unexpected in boxing. Sometimes we can get things wrong, say a name wrong or whatever have you. But, I'm also perfecting my craft in reporting. And sometimes I could fumble the ball, but I'll do my due diligence always to pick it back up, dust myself off, and keep going forward. Right? I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. Right? But most importantly, get it right. You know? So that's what I try to do. Um, this Saul Canelo Alvarez fight, you know, uh, every day you can get lost in what you think the outcome's going to be, which makes the fight very interesting. It's really the experience against the less experience and the unknown, that the possibility that whether or not you've ever witnessed in your life an underdog come and win. There has been big fights in MMA and in boxing, big games in football, baseball, hockey, where one side was so outmatched, they were supposed to lose. Somehow, some way, that team pulled together, pulled off one of the biggest upsets on that night. Fighters have been known to do the same thing. There has been big moments in combat sports where the guy that was heavily underdog end up changing his stars on that night. We've seen it time and time again. Does it happen all the time? No. There is something in sports we cannot measure. That is the man's will, your heart, your desire to win. How far are you willing to go? How much blood are you willing to give? And how much pain are you willing to endure? Those are going to be the questions that Edgar Berlanga is going to have to answer. And like I've said before, there are boxing situations you just don't train for. And until I see my fighter in the ring going through these situations and how they handle adversity, will I be able to tell you how they respond. There may be moments in the fight where Edgar Berlanga must dig deep, or they could be Edgar Berlanga truly shines. On September 14th, we are about to find out as Saul Canelo Alvarez and Edgar Berlanga clash horns in the center of the ring September 14th. The belts are on the line. This is the kind of fight can truly change your stars. It can catapult you to a level of stardom. I don't think Edgar Berlanga truly understands the responsibility and what comes next. I really don't think he's thought that far ahead. He needs to stay in the moment, execute his game plan. Edgar Berlanga is in for a tough night. Make no mistake. And Saul Canelo Alvarez is eager to pull a knockout. We all know that that is what really been avoiding Saul Canelo Alvarez in his last performances, where that I believe the last person he did knock out, in fact, or stopped was Caleb Plant. So Saul is he wants to solidify himself with a knockout of a guy that is less experienced and try to catapult what he's been saying that he's been fighting the best. As of late, we have heard Saul Canelo Alvarez on social media already backing up the notion that he's not fighting the best by already coming out and like the reporter asked him a question and he had to bring out the fact I've already fought the best fighters in the world. Check my resume, meaning he doesn't have to fight anybody else or answer any question or answer to anyone. When David the Monster Benavidez has been his mandatory for quite some time, it's the unavoidable question that when the mics get in Saul Canelo Alvarez's face, that's the question and that's the fighter's name that always comes. And he always seems to have a rebuttal. Like he has a PR team that go over questions for he can avoid that particular question in that particular fight and why he hasn't fought David the Monster Benavidez. Saul Canelo Alvarez has been surrounded by yes men. You can see it. You can see where they have already told him, hey, champ, you fought the best. They got that drilled into his head. In boxing, you can have a great career. You can have a first great half. You can have an amazing middle half. It's how you end your career when it's all said and done. And are you willing to step up to the challenge to fight these younger guys? Remember when you were the young guy, Saul Canelo Alvarez? You wanted someone to fight you, to give you that recognition, to pass the torch. And even though you lost to our legend, Floyd Money Mayweather, he still acknowledged you and passed the torch to you. I know he's kicking himself in the ass about that decision now because he would like to do that for his fighters or whatever, right? But he did that out of respect. And you got to admit, even though Floyd beat him, Floyd showed Saul Canelo Alvarez the utmost respect. He was doing business with Oscar De La Hoya, all of them, and they were trying to promote their Mexican fighters. What do you think that if Saul Canelo Alvarez would have won that night against Floyd Mayweather, he would have showed him the same respect? I'm not sure. They've all been waiting to really put it into Floyd's face. They never got that opportunity, did they? That was up to Floyd. This fight right here is going to be up to Edgar Berlanga to see if he can come out and back up some of the things that he's been saying about his knowledge, ring IQ. Apparently, he's been going around giving himself a lot of credit and saying that he knows everything that Saul Canelo Alvarez is going to do. And I'm not saying he's lying because, look, what I can see what he's saying. It's one thing to identify what the person's doing. It's another thing entirely to be in front of them and to be evading all that. You can, I've heard fighters 100,000 times say, I could see the punches coming. I just couldn't move. I knew what he was doing, and he doesn't understand that he's battered. He's at a certain point in the fight where his arms are already black and blue, punches to the chest, fatigue, pressure. He's starting to panic a little. You can see a chink in his confidence. Next thing you know, you're on the ground. That happens a lot. You see, that's fighting experience. And that's what Berlanga lacks in. You know, if he could turn this into a fight, Berlanga, I believe he has a chance. If he could turn this into a fight, he can't allow Saul to cut off the ring, get comfortable. And when Saul cuts the ring, don't panic in those situations. Don't shy away. If if in the beginning of the fight you see Berlanga start taking steps back, and the way that he tries to deal with Saul's pressure is by taking, shuffling back, he doesn't know how to deal with the power. Saul's gonna bait him, and it's gonna be a matter of time. My prediction for the fight, I have two predictions, and the reason why I'm going to give two predictions because I have the right to. I can. The 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 boxing Bible never says in there, "Thou shalt pick only one fighter." Where does it say that? Where does it say that I can't give my prediction on both fighters? Where in the boxing Bible does it say that? Nah. In the reporting Bible, it says I can report on both fighters. So I'm going to do so. Okay. As of Saul Canelo Alvarez's side, uh, I think he goes 12 rounds. He wins in a 12-round decision. I don't think he'll even stop Edgar Berlanga. As of late, I would like to think of Saul Canelo Alvarez as the fighter he once was. The fighter that he used to come out and knock out everybody and hurt people and stuff. But as of late, he couldn't finish Ryder. He couldn't finish Mongia. He couldn't finish a lot of guys. He couldn't finish them. Um, Berlanga's a big boy. Berlanga's a big boy. If he doesn't make a lot of mistakes, the problem is that's that's where I think he could weather the storm. He might be able to weather the storm, and I think that Saul is going to probably win in a 12-round decision. The most likely that seems to be the more common Saul Canelo Alvarez's outcomes. So I'm going to go with the more common approach. I don't see Saul coming out of nowhere and just being this dominant. He has a lot of boxing miles on him. He might be 34 years old, but he has a lot of boxing mile on those knees. Yeah, a lot of wear and tear, a lot of training in the gym. So he didn't look all that great and impressive his last fights neither. So I think Saul, when if he gets it done, he wins in a 12-round decision. Yes. As far as Edgar Berlanga, I believe he'll lose in a 12-round decision. Um, I think that the only option that Edgar Berlanga has truly is to stop Saul Canelo Alvarez for the first time. And that's a big, big challenge if no one's ever done that. That's going to be impressive to see. I would have to see that shit. I don't I don't I don't see it happening in my head. I would be lying if I really told you that, yeah, he got a chance to nah, nah, I don't see that shit. That would be shocking. That would be worse. That would be better, right? And it kind of works in both ways. I'm thinking in my head in that Errol Spence Jr. fight with Terrence Crawford. As it shocking as I was when I witnessed that for Errol, if I saw Edgar Berlanga knock down Saul Canelo Alvarez, bro, that would be amazing. That would be amazing, bro. So, you know, but somehow, some way, he's gonna have to try to stop him or something. Maybe a good body shot, maybe a good body shot. He could hit him upstairs real hard, wobble him, and then go down to the body to finish him. You know, like that, something like that, or something. I'm not sure. I don't know if he has the real gas tank to outscore Saul, and it's gonna be tough to beat Saul in a decision because if the fighter's close, what happens, guy? What typically happens? You give it to the champion. It's what we call a champion's nod. You didn't definitively beat the champion, and in order to beat a champion, now that's a guy with one belt. He's got three. So if you don't really give that kind of performance where we feel like if we're going to the scorecards and we're saying, man, this is close, it might just go Saul's way. Being who Saul is, the money maker, all those factors, you really think they're just gonna give Berlanga the nod? That would be shocking, right? Saul's been in tougher, closer fights where we felt like he lost. They gave him the nod. So that's what I mean about Edgar Berlanga. I feel, in my opinion, I'm not saying that the judges are bought. I'm not saying that they have favoritism. I'm just saying that you have to remember that boxing is a business disguised as a sport. It's about who brings in the dollar, who puts seats in those asses in those seats. And I don't think Edgar Berlanga sells like Saul Canelo Alvarez, if I'm not mistaken. Can I go out on a limb and say that? So it's a business and he's still hot. If the fight is close, for the business sense of marketing, who do you think is and championship status? Come on, guys. I think they're gonna lean towards that way. So Edgar Berlanga is truly fighting, you know, tough fight. It's not an impossible fight. No, it's not. It's not like the deck is truly stacked again, or is it? Right? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think he his fate is in his own hands. I'm not gonna take Edgar Berlanga's fate and try to convince you that his fate lies in judging and refereeing because that would be a lie. That would be a lie. Because what's stopping him from knocking him out? Just knock him out. All that shit goes out the window. So that's a lie. That would mean that it would absolutely have to rely, his fate would have to lie on the judges and in the ref, like 100%. Then that's when you can say that. If there was no other way out of that, you had to answer to them no matter the outcome of the fight, then you could say his fate is on the judges and the ref. That's how you could say that. But since that doesn't happen, you knock him out. It's over. Done deal. Finito. Right? Yo, what's up, man? What's up, guys? How you guys doing? Let me read y'all messages. See front line saying something, but I gotta put it together real quick. Yeah, I gotta do it with the glasses, baby. And forget that, mom. Bam Bam. And you pay all this for these. I'm gonna wear them everywhere now. Plus, it's the light thing, and my other ones, my other glasses cracked. So I had my girl go to the safety deposit box and get these out and shit. I'm gonna wear them. I don't care. You buy stuff for what? To save it, to put it in a box where they can just sit on the shelf? Like what? Like, you know? Nah. Yeah, nah. I do sleep with these glasses on right now. Actually, been telling my girl if if there's gonna be changes, she could sleep in the room next door, and I put the glasses on a pillow on the side of me. You know what I'm saying? With the laser beams and security system on them. You know what I mean? She has to understand. Yo, my, she be talking shit about him. I know she's probably watching me at work. Notre Dame's world title says you can only pick one fighter. That is true statement right there, frontline. That is a very true statement. That is in the yes, yes. You must only pick one fighter. That is in regards to the Notre Dame's world title. Those are in the rules. Yes, but as boxers, you can pick any favorite you want. But when it comes to the note, yes, those are facts. Those are 100%. I mean, let me check it again. Fact. Wait, wait, wait. Next page. Fact. Wait, wait, wait. Fact. I have a document for you right here. Facts. Okay. Yeah. Listen. Yeah. Those are facts. No, did I not say he wasn't knocking out Canelo Alvarez? I'm not capping. Where did you hear me say that he's gonna knock him out? I said that was highly unlikely, and I don't see it, but that's what probably he would have to do, right? You go back and hear what I said. I never, you know what I'm saying? It's just what I can't express a wishful thought that anything I express nowadays, what? You gonna hold me to it? No one can ever have an expression. Nobody can say a hypothetical situation. No more. I can't say no hypotheticals. Anything that I say, now you're gonna hold me to? It was just a suggestion. I believe, no one's knocked out Saul Kilano Alvarez. And I said it. No one's done it. And I don't think he's gonna be the dude to do it. I said that. If I and what I said was like, if he did pull it off, it would be some remarkable shit like that Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. I don't know if you joined at the wrong time and didn't hear me say any of that, but I'll come back and say it like, nah, there's no way you could you're gonna tell me like try to correct me on something that I already admitted. You calling me out for that and saying that that's cap. Like my man, like I already admitted that that was cap before I even went into the explanation. Like, so yeah, that's that man, listen, that'll be crazy to see. That'll be truly I'm trying to tell you, man. I'm trying to tell you. So I don't know. I don't know, guys. I don't know how he gets it done, Berlanga. Honestly, I don't. I don't know how he gets it done. I know that I have seen in some moments in his fights where he actually boxed. I seen him brawl. So I know that he can, if given the right training and the right amount of time, could he sustain those moments he had in spurts and rounds? That's where my curiosity lies. I seen him be actually technical. He didn't do it the entire fight though. His technique withered away. It didn't hold up. But I did see evidence and I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, that was good form right there. How you threw that, the way you set that up, you know. Being fatigued, you start to, you know, not throw those combinations that you once was because you don't got that burst. Now you're starting to, take away things from your fight in order to sustain a level that you need to try to win. You know, but I saw of Berlanga in different fights, different situations, some some neat shit. So I said to myself, if you could train him right to at least sustain that, if he can keep that for 36 minutes, all 12 rounds, maybe he has a chance. I still don't think I see him winning in a decision. If he can't win in a decision in my head, what's the only other way he's going to win? There's only one other way. Not unless Saul Canelo Alvarez gets himself disqualified. If he gets himself disqualified, that's another option, right? I don't know. I never thought Mike Tyson was going to bite off Evander Holyfield, but shit happens apparently, right? Saul get frustrated and kicks him in the balls. I don't know, but um, he would have to stop him. That's the logical that I would think, and I don't see him doing it. Let's be honest. I don't see him doing it, but that's what I think would have to occur. Unless the ass whooping was just like it was one of those kind of nights where the fight slips away from you, right? Okay, you come out in the first round, it's a feel out process, and Edgar ends up edging out that first round, but it's nothing serious. It was by a couple punches, and there was nothing really done. Second round, third round, little action, but still feeling out process, no fighter really wanting to engage. And all of a sudden, Berlanga starts to put these rounds together. First, second, and there was nothing really like serious, but he just did a little bit more work. Then all of a sudden, you're in the eighth round, you're Saul Canelo Alvarez, and you're waiting for this kid to start to fatigue, and it's not happening. Edgar's conditioning is holding up. You're in the eighth round and you gave away 7 rounds. Then all of a sudden, Saul starts to, his corner says, no, step on the gas. He starts stepping on the gas in the eighth. We're in the ninth. Edgar's fighting him back. He's not, he's not melting to the pressure. Saul's doing good work, and we could say that Saul won that round. He wins the ninth round. But Edgar stood his ground. In the 10th round, Saul's really trying to like find his entrance in. Edgar's able to hold them back. In fact, that round was so close that some of the judges gave it to Berlanga. All of a sudden, we're in the 11, going into the 10th, 11th, 12th round. You, the fight's starting to slip away from Saul. They're starting to see it. He's not melting. He's not. His training is holding up. Now Saul's got to knock him out. They feel that is where, even though it's the 10th round, right? You can clearly see that Berlanga's winning by your scorecard or the unofficial scorecard. In those last two rounds, if Saul wins them, he's going to win the fight. They're going to give it to him. If he wins the championship fight, I've seen these situations so many times. I felt like, listen, that's where Berlanga is going to have a good plan for a real aggressive Saul Canelo Alvarez, the 11th and 12th round. That's where I think the fight's going to lie, right there. Whatever outcome happens in the 11th and 12th round, I think whoever stands, when the smoke is clear, whoever's standing and whoever did the best and got the better out of the two, I think wins the fight right then and there. That's how it's going to go in my head. Yeah. Berlanga can do a Teofimo Lopez, Altio, good there with Loma in the 11th, 12th. If he can reenact that, if he can bring that kind of performance out of himself, I don't know where it's going to come from. But I truly believe that there's a competitive athlete that lives inside of the athlete that always says, you know, let me prove to you I'm not bullshitting. Let me have my moment. Doesn't mean that they wasn't ready. Doesn't mean that they're not gonna live up and show out, right? It just means that they haven't gotten their opportunity. Now it seems like Edgar Berlanga has talked his way up. He got himself this fight right here, and here we are. Whether or not you want to look at it, Mexican, did you into it? Did you not? You know, um, I can't knock Edgar Berlanga for actually taking the fight, being so outmatched on paper, where that he's never even competed for a world title, never fought a world champion, never owned a world title, um, none of that stuff. Where he was given a phone call and said yes, Saul said yes. Would you say no? At that point, when your agent called you back and said, "Hey, Saul Canelo Alvarez has said he's interested in the fight. Do you want to fight him?" At that point, do you shy away? Do you say no? Here's your opportunity. Here's your opportunity. And in your mind, at least me anyway, there's a situation where the thought in my mind, it would go through my mind, win, lose, or draw, right? And right there in that moment, I would stop myself and I would say, no, there is none of that. If I'm going to take this fight, there's only win. That's what I'm aiming to do. There is no other options in my head. There's no win, lose, or draw. No, there's none of that shit. From the moment I accept that fight, the only thing I'm working on is to win the fight. That's it. That's it. Well, the way I wake up September 15th, talk to me then. But I can promise you, the way I would approach it now, the things I know would only be one way. Soon as I hung up that phone, the only thing I'm working on is to win this fight. And Edgar Berlanga, I don't know him as an individual. I don't know his heart. I don't know how far he's willing to go. I don't. I wish I did. I wish I could look him in the eyes and talk to him and see where his mindset's at, his physical, what what is he doing in preparation. You know, I have questions, and if I knew more of these things, I would feel more and I would have more to give you. But as of right now, I'm just like you, merely speculating, but, um, you know, going around the possibilities of what if something happens, you know, and that's where I'm at with it. Not unless you guys are Notre Dame and you can call this fight, pull up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. What's up, Carlos? What, Bam? That went. I heard a great boxing. One said this is the year of. Ah! Yes, I did. Yo, I heard the same thing. Yo, that guy is a very smart guy. Very smart guy. You know what I mean? Be prepared to see your favorite fighter lose this year. Canelo Alvarez's head be on that chopping block, on that mantle. Bing, bing. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yo,
Another one.
another head on the wall. Ah, pause. Yo, it sounded weird. I yo, listen. And the NFL season kicked off. It was a crazy NFL start. A little drama already. Man, if he was only born 1 foot size smaller in shoe, he would have tied the game. That was an amazing. An amazing game against the Chiefs, you know. Ravens, Patrick Mahomes, you know how he is. But if you love sports and everything, I perhaps drop at least the scores at least of the games and stuff just to update us to talk about more sports and things like that. I'm not gonna really go down to the football thing. Nah, I can't do that. But I can give you guys a courtesy and at least drop the scores on Sunday when I do Sunday breakfast. That's when I'll do it after like stuff like that or whatever. Or would that be backwards because the games wouldn't even start? I would have to be actually a week behind. That would suck, right? No, I couldn't do it like that. I would have to do it later on that day. We'll figure it out. Yeah, that's what they do. They jump in the live stream. They do me like that. Nah, ain't nobody really sleeping on Canelo. Yeah, he definitely gets the same hate as Floyd. Canelo Alvarez is always going to get hate from the people because of the fact that that's just the champion's curse. That's obvious. All the best in every sport. You win too much, you have the title too long, the fans will turn on you. That's all that's happening with Saul. That's common. That happens in every sport. I know that Jordan got it, Brady got it, all the best got it. Come on, man. When Brady was at the height of this prime, going to other teams and corona epidemics, wiping down the whole side, like they were still saying that he sucked. Oh, he's not an elite quarterback. Super Bowl. It was crazy. That happens all the time. Come on. Saul is who he is. He's no slouch, no bum. Saul's an amazing fighter. What are you talking about? You didn't become who you Saul Canelo Alvarez because you rolled off the couch. No, he has a he has a fucking hit list of killers on his resume. He's just not fighting the present killers. That's all. And they'll try to like disguise it, but when you're at the top and you're the top lion, it's really hard to maintain that level of dominance that you once was when you were a younger fighter. And in Saul's case, he was a young fighter with a lot of fight, you see? And he did a lot in a young and he has a lot of boxing miles on him. But amazingly, he's really not that old. 34 years old. Fairly young still, right? Not so fairly, but you know, he's not for 62 professional fights. I think that's fairly young. I mean, on that level, like that. But Saud beat all of them. Miguel Cotto, he beat them all. He beat them all. He beat them all. It's just not the present guys. You know, passing the torch is tough. He's going to get a lot of criticism at this part in his career. Let's not forget who Saul Canelo is and was. No, no, come on, man. I'm not that stupid. You haven't been watching me then for a while or nothing. No, come on, man. They all that. I thought you would know that by now. You know you're the best when you get hated on. Saul Canelo Alvarez. You know, he's just at a tough point in his career right now in this moment. That's all. Because when he was uh, young Mayweather, his first 16, 17 fights, yeah, right. Yeah, right. He had to, after breaking his hands, he had to change his style, and he got a lot of hate for that, like Floyd, like you say, right? But was he not the best? That's why they hate on him. It's the champion's curse. It happens to all the best athletes. Yeah, I don't, I don't disagree with you on that. So and I understand that. Oh, I 100% understand that. But taking criticism from me and me pointing out these things or these hypothetical situations in Edgar Berlanga's situation is not an act of me of being jealous or having hate or anything towards Saul Canelo Alvarez. In fact, I have a lot of respect and love for Saul Canelo Alvarez, and I consider him to be one of the greatest champions we've had in our time. He represented Mexico very well, hands down. He is their best fighter. And for his accomplishments and accomplishments for your people, hats off to you, Canelo Alvarez. You truly did your thing. I have none to say about that. Hell no, there's none I can say. And anybody that would say anything about that, you would truly be a hater. You would truly be a hater. Come on, guys. What if you could do that for your country? If you could represent, like, get the hell out of here, bro. You would be proud. And some people, were, oh no, he didn't fight this. Let me look. There's no Superman in this world. There is no man actually that can do what you're saying. Fight all the best top guys. And why? No, this guy did it. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. There's some very terribly unknown name guy that you better believe they silent the boxing gods. You never got to see his name because they never booked him fights. They didn't do anything. They knew that guy would eventually beat their guy. Or he beat him in the amateurs. He always they sparred again. He's still beating them. They saw the threat, and sometimes they can get to situating their sad case stories where that they disrail that guy's career. Marvelous Hagler had way like 30, 40 plus fight. I forget what the number really was before governor, mayor, I think of Massachusetts, one of the Kennedys, petitioned to get him a world title fight. That's how bad they blackballed him. Marvelous Hagler. If Marvelous Hagler would have grabbed those titles a lot younger in his career, he would have had a more dominant reign. He was way in his 30s before he got one shot at the title. You'll be surprised how old he was because they were blackballing him. That happens in boxing all the time. If you really think that there was a person alive that fought nothing but the best, and you're convinced that then you're fooling yourself. You are truly fooling yourself. There is no human on earth that can do that. So let's get that perfectly clear. If you ever in your life think that you're the toughest person on the planet, wait for it. Here comes that guy. That is, man, listen. No, no, there is no man that can do that. I know this. You F around and get too close to the sun. See what happens. See what happens. So it's obvious some of these guys, for whatever reason, would avoid a fight for a particular style. They can still go on to give the impression or the image where at least they did it like this. They were managed well. They won the fights they needed to, and then they rised above the occasion in their prime. That's when they actually fought the best and didn't shy away. But if you look at some point in their career, at some point, he would have shied away from a particular fighter and kept it pushing. Then got to the pinnacle and then fought all comers. And then at the tail end, avoid some because he's starting to lose a step, but still want to remain on champion. That's usually how a legend's career goes. But every legend at some point had to avoid a fight. Yes, you are not, there is no man in the world that can do that. That can go, no, you, nah, man, come. That's never happened in reality. We want to pretend that it happens. We want to support our best fighter. No, he did. He fought this guy that no. There's the guy that you have no idea about, and I can guarantee that. There was way better fighters than Muhammad Ali in the world. They never got their opportunity or their chance for whatever reason. There was a guy that was better than Floyd out there. Hell yeah. There was someone that can beat him. You just didn't get to see it. And lucky for him, he never ran into that man. Because no, I don't believe that Floyd is the or currently or was then. No, but he did do what he needed to do to solidify his career. And for that, he did everything right. Yeah. So by acknowledging that I know that there's no Superman, at least the way you're gonna do it on a human level, shit, you did it fucking amazing. That was amazing what you just did. As a human, I know humans are not all perfect. I know we're subject to error and to defeat. And what you just did throughout your entire career is to be commended. You're not Superman. You did good, my man. You did more than good. You did what many have failed to do. But whatever way you did it, who am I to fucking pick apart your resume? Who am I to tell you that, nah, yo, I get it. I get how that fighting really truly is. And there's those weird ones, those Navarretes, they're out there. They might not look real skilled, but man, they seem to land the right punches and give you problems. And you're going to avoid that awkward dude with all that power. He's like an awkward dude that has a one hitter. Man, listen, it happens all the time. It happens all the time. So I don't buy or believe in the fact that there's a Superman out there that's ever done any ridiculous shit like that. And if we're gonna be start talking like real boxing here, and we're gonna like cover real stuff, then Fantasy Island gotta be out of your mind. If you're still stuck on, man, this guy don't know what he's talking about, and you're living in Fantasy Island. Because the truth of the truth, there's never been a human in the world born to do anything like that. Never in the history of mankind. If you could do something, man, you would be a superhuman. Like it would be apparent. You'd just be walking like smacking champions, going to a championship fight. Like it would be like, nah, get the fuck out of here, bro. There's nobody like that on planet Earth. There's always that man. Always. Always. Anyone could lose. Come on, man. It's just good management, not taking that fight, not going against this style. But you gotta do that, man. You gotta do that. The best fighters gotta do that. This guy is wild, crazy, anything, man. Listen, get me a technical guy. Get me a smooth, a guy that can do the dance the right way. Give me a guy that's real. You know what I mean? He's gonna get a lucky punch on me. I can't get a beat on his little ass. He's just like a like a turbo freaking. He's like you gotta avoid some guys like that. They're not really skilled. Like um Luis Alberto Lopez. Every time he got in the ring, I thought he was gonna lose that belt. And every time he beat everybody with that crazy ass unorthodox style that gave real good fighters and boxing technicians trouble and losses. And sometimes you got to avoid those kind of guys. And those guys are not going down for their superior skill. No, they're not known for it. But that guy could have beat that superior fighter on the low. We never got to see it, but I'm telling you, that guy would have beat him on that night. So come on, people. Like, let's not buy into this notion that, that goes like that. But yeah, sometimes we get a little crazy with who we think our fighter is, how who he really is. Nah, dude, he'll go in there, he'll wipe him. Yo, you hear him talking about Tank and Shakur. No, Shakur will outbox him, and I'm like listening to these guys talk about these men like Supermen, like they don't get tired. Like Tank's gonna fight like this for 12 rounds straight, man, because I said so. Not because he can actually do it. Sometimes we get lost. We get caught up in the fantasy, and then our fighter becomes so much more in our head. Without realizing it, we created our own Superman. And then all these high expectations. And when then fights don't get called, you're so built up with all these expectations about a fighter you actually created in your head with each fight. The more and more he or she won, the more and more you build to their legend, their legacy. And it sometimes it gets out of control, and all of a sudden you got LeBron James on ESPN saying ridiculous stuff. And that's because you he allowed it to get so far out of control. Yeah. And unfortunately shit like that happens. But you gotta bring yourself back down and be like, yeah, yeah, my fighter's great, he's good. You know, if he's still undefeated, then he's still undefeated. You could say whatever you want about, oh, he didn't fight homeboy, he didn't do this, Saul ain't doing that. Well, you know what? Saul Canelo Alvarez is doing Saul Canelo Alvarez shit. I can be mad at his decisions. Yeah, I'm mad at him. But I got no hate for the man's accomplishments. And you got, I there's things you can debate, but at the end of the day, can you take any of that stuff away from him? Will be awarded all his accolades. Yep. He's going to be awarded all his accolades, and he's going to go down as one of his country's, Mexico's greatest legends and fighter. He's going to live out there through in Mexico as a king. He did a lot for his country, and that's what I speak of. You can criticize the people he fought. You could criticize him. You could say that he's kidnapping these belts, holding them for ransom. You could say whatever you want, right? But if you had the ability to switch spots with Saul Canelo Alvarez, and you woke up tomorrow morning in his bed next to his wife with all those belts, trophies on your wall, would you get up and say, look into the camera, I'm a phony. I'm ducking the best fighters in the world, and you guys are right. I'm not the best. I don't deserve any of this stuff. Or what would you say? Tell me. I'll wait. You woke up tomorrow morning, you were Saul. Would you feel then that you're you're ducking David the Monster Benavidez? That all would you care about the noise? Or would you do what you wanted to do? Easy from the outside looking in to criticize him, but you're not him. I'm not him. I don't know what the hell that man's doing. I don't got no right to tell that man. I can encourage it, like, come on, Saul, like, fight the man, right? And I'll be sitting here like, yo, I'll be critical to Saul. Of course I do. Of course I am. Because I have the right to be, right? But it's not hate. Oh no. Oh no. No, definitely not. He's done a lot for the sport. He sold a lot of tickets. He held the sport up in moments and times when the sport needed it. I respect him for that. I remember all the moments that Saul K brought to us in our living room. I'd be lying to you if I wasn't in my living room cheering for him. Because you're damn right I was. He's a Latin fighter, all right? He gave us a lot of excitement throughout the years, you know? Uh, and I'm not gonna just erase everything that he did because he's in a particular situation in his career, or he's in a different place in his career, and he's not taking one fight or something like that. And I'm just gonna say, based on that, now he sucks. Now he's no good. That would be hypocritical. No, I know who he is. I know exactly who he is. I know exactly what he did for the sport of boxing. I know all that. I also know that the sport keeps going. The sport doesn't stop for no one. Just because you are Saul Canelo Alvarez doesn't mean you 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 gave a lot of blood. We get it, but put those belts down and step away from them, real slow, like no. This is the fight business. In with out with the old, in with the new. Nothing personal. There ain't nothing personal. But in this business, if you want to be king, you must act like a king. You can't be shying away, not in this sport. So unfortunately, it is what it is. And he's gonna have to deal with it. That's where we're at. You can respect what he is, respect who he was. But if you're gonna beat your chest and claim to be the king, then you need to do some king shit. That's all I'm saying. Yo, front line. Yeah. Well, when do you decide, right, as a fighter? We discussed this. When do you decide as a fighter that you've given enough blood? Enough blood to call your own shots. When do you decide in boxing? When do you have 30 fights in? About 40 fights. Have you given enough to the sport where that now you can start calling your own shots after 40 fights? How about 50 fights? With the 50 fights, I mean, the great Mayweather had was 50 and 0. So after 50 fights, and it'll probably take you 20 years to get 50 fights, right? After 50 fights, do you feel that you've deemed the right, you've given the fans their money's worth, enough blood where that you're in position to call your own shots after 50 fights? No? How about 60 fights? After 60 fights, do you think that now you have put in enough blood that now you can? So where do we draw the line? 60 fights. I think you've earned the right. I think you've done pretty much everything you needed to do. Yeah, I think you can go get some money fights and the fans should back you up. How many fights do you gotta get? I mean, Terrence Crawford is only beginning the 40s and he's starting to pick whatever he wants. Huh? Answer me the question. Can anybody answer me that question on that question? When do you do? When is it that you get to your career where that we say, all right, you don't have to fight the best. You did it in your time. We understand that now you're having your last fights. And we as fans thank you for all the action you gave us that we're gonna support you on your last fights out. At what point does a fighter get to that point? When? Because each fighter's different. Not every fighter can reach 60 fights. So that's a rare feat, right? So when do you get there? How many world titles? How many divisions? Saul got 4 divisions, right? How many divisions? How many world titles? How long do you have to hold the belt for you as a fan to say, you know what? It's obvious he's ducking David the Monster Benavidez, but at this point, F it. He's done enough. We're going to support him. We don't even care if he fights him because they were in different times and eras. And now you're salty because he has the belt. I don't know. Is there a point where you can get like that as a fighter? I'm just asking the question. Please, I would love to hear anybody's rebuttal. And I'm not saying that your rebuttal or your comment would be wrong. Like, I just want to know, where does a fighter get to in his career where he can do such a thing? How much blood does he need to get? How many weight divisions? How many belts? Is there a spot where you can get? Does that spot truly exist? Or is that a fantasy we keep telling our boxer that we never give him a break to do? We acknowledge it. Oh yeah, a fighter can get to this position. He should be able to call whatever shots. But do we actually allow him to pull that off? Well, the very next fight, we automatically turn on the fighter and say, nope, you got to fight this guy. Is that a fantasy that most fighters will never get to? Or will you always have to go in there and punch your brains in, according to the fan? That's that's my question. You know, I guess it's up to you or the debate, or it's up to Saul Canelo Alvarez. He feels like he's done enough. He doesn't feel like he has to keep coming out every time telling you this because it's going to detract you from coming to his fights because he's blatantly admitting that he's not going to fight. So you don't want to say that. He just wants you to acknowledge it and recognize where he's at. And as a true fan of Saul Canelo Alvarez, can you recognize that for him and support him at the tail end of his career? I don't think he's going to actually come out and say, yeah, I don't think that would be in his best interest. But you, as a fan, I think we have to acknowledge where he's at. And it's frustrating at times. Yes, he is holding up people's careers, and this fucking sucks because I can't deny that. How much longer would a champion would David the Monster Benavidez be in the 168? You know, but we also got to acknowledge that some of these things are David the Monster Benavidez' fault. He lost the belts, what, twice? Once on a scale and once recreational drug use. So he has a lot to, you know, take in and account for too. Had he been doing the right thing, he would probably still have his belt. So that's not Saul Canelo Alvarez's fault. That's his. What he did afterwards, it's up for debate. But nevertheless, Saul is a highly decorated world champion of boxing. He's got my respect. He's a Hall of Famer. He's done a lot for the sport. He generated a lot of money, brought a lot of eyes. And for that, I commend him, respect him, and show him respect as a champion. Saul Canelo Alvarez. Nothing I can say about that. But we live in today's era, and it is what it is. What's up, CJ? All right. All right. That's going to be a little misleading, but at the same time, right? Uh, okay, let me explain this to you. In a contract fight, right? The $32 million that Saul Canelo Alvarez is being paid is probably guaranteed. That means that before Saul Canelo Alvarez enters the ring, they already gave him the money, right? Okay, his contract is different than Berlanga's. This is a massive pay per view fight. For instance, Errol Spence Jr. got paid, what was it, $3.4 million to fight against Terrence Crawford, but he made $27 million on pay per view sales. The check he got from pay per view was $27 million. He only got three for the actual 3 point whatever for the actual fight itself. That's it. Berlanga might be getting that, but his percentage or what he's gonna be. Listen, his percentage that he's gonna get off the back end on the drip on the pay-per-view sales for Lenga is gonna be in the millions. Gonna be in the millions of dollars. Even if Berlanga gets like what Arrow got, like what was Arrow had? He had like what 23%, 13% or something of pay-per-view percentage. Not like he had like an overwhelming amount. He had like a real low percent that was due to him, and he still got like $27 million out of that. I mean, it goes to how much pay-per-view sales you sell. Yeah, you got Canelo Alvarez with you. He's gonna get the lion's share, and who knows if that 32 million guarantee, it's already his cut. Like they might have already told him, yeah, you're not gonna get so much of the pay-per-view, nothing. We're giving you this and we're keeping everything we make. It's kind of like a contract work. I'm not sure. I wasn't in the room. I'm not his lawyer. I'm not reading over the contract. If I had, if I was privy to that kind of information, then I would be able to tell you definitively, what was in the terms, what was specified in the contract, who gets what, But I also know whatever Berlanga gets for the purse, that's what the taxes and the people you can like. Look, I only made this much money out of the fight, but that can be deceiving, very deceiving. Then all of a sudden you see Berlango in a yacht, in a gold yacht. And it's like, oh, you only made 500K. And he's got a gold yacht. Yeah, but that pay-per-view money he was balled out with the pay-per-view money. You buying a gold boat now. Yeah. Yeah. And that was the big fight over Derek James with Errol Spence Jr. You remember that when they broke up, right? It was because Derek James felt cheated. He's like, Errol paid him the whatever percentage that a coach for him what they agreed upon. He paid him every dollar, but he paid him every dollar from the fight purse, 3 point whatever million. So out of that money, whatever percentage it was, he gave it to Derrick James. Derrick James felt like I was with you in the fight as a whole. I was in the event at the pay-per-view thing with you. I did all this with you. I should be entitled to some of the 27 million. My percent should come out of that. And that's where all the thing came. Because he got a little bit and he only thought Errol walked away with 1 point whatever million after he paid everything. Then all of a sudden, Errol Spence Jr. is coming by in a gold yacht. And, and he's like, yo, that pay-per-view money is a mother. Yeah. So Berlanga's people gotta be smart. Yeah, you take a Saul Canelo Alvarez fight, it might look like on paper this and this, but you better believe that man's gonna get paid. He better not been that stupid at her inside him to some shit like that. Fucking crazy. Berlanga with a go yacht and with a mini me. He'd be like this. Yo, guys. Yo, I like this in the morning. And we're gonna start doing this. I'm gonna do the morning shows at least 3 to 4 times of the week. I'm gonna keep this going on at 9 and shit. And I still gotta lock down everything else. Like I said, like um I'm gonna put more effort into this. I can lock this down a little bit more. And I I'm looking for my partner right now to start to shirt things up. uh, I was supposed to start it up everything, but they went on vacation and shit. So now they back. I gave them a couple days, talked to them. We're gonna start putting things together here at Round One Sports Talk. So thank you for tuning in this morning. I appreciate all you guys' comments, your feedback. Don't forget to like the videos, guys. It's very important. Please just take that time out for me. Just like the video, comment if you can. Share the video, and if you haven't already, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Right? So, fight fans, um, like always, I'm on to the next one. After this one, here at Route One Sports Talk. Peace. I wonder why.